So, what if an ancient text held a radical solution to two of our most modern problems? I'm talking about the constant pressure to perform for an audience and that nagging anxiety we all feel about our security. Well, let's dive into this because chapter 6 of Matthew's Gospel does exactly that. It proposes nothing short of a secret revolution of the heart.
I mean, just think about it for a second. From your social media feed to your workplace evaluations, so much of modern life feels like one long performance. We're constantly curating an image, right? We're looking for that approval. And at the exact same time, we're worrying about the future, about money, stability, just having enough. This ancient chapter, it tackles both of these pressures head on. All right, so first up is what we can call the performance trap. Jesus kicks things off by critiquing religious acts that are done just for show, for public consumption. And this isn't just some ancient problem. It is a deeply, deeply human one. He starts with this really clear warning that basically sets up the central conflict for the entire chapter. It all boils down to a choice between two audiences. Are you living for human praise, or are you living for something more? So Jesus lays out these two completely different paths. On one side, you've got the public performance, announced giving, loud prayers on the street corner, making sure everyone sees how gloomy you are when you're fasting, all for a human audience. And the text says their reward is human praise. But here's the kicker. It says they have received it in full. That's it. Transaction closed. But on the other side, you have this quiet, private devotion seen only by God. And that promises a completely different kind of reward. And this, right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the issue. When Jesus calls these people hypocrites, he's using the Greek word hypokritai. Now, this wasn't just a generic insult. It was the specific term for stage actors, the guys who wore masks to play a character. His insight is just piercing. Authentic spirituality cannot be a performance. The moment you're acting spiritual for an audience, you've already missed the entire point. Okay, so if performing is the problem, what's the fix? Well, this is where the teaching gets truly revolutionary. Jesus proposes that real faith, it goes underground. It's all about cultivating a powerful, hidden spiritual life. And get this, the Greek word for secret or hidden, it's kryptos, it shows up 6 times in just the first 18 verses. I mean, that's no accident. It's the same root word we get cryptography from. This isn't just about being a private person, it's about tapping into a hidden dimension of reality where the real work gets done. And the whole point is that this secret life, well, it isn't secret from God. The grammar in the original Greek actually implies that God is constantly seeing what's done in secret. And that reward, the word for it, misthos, is the same word used for a laborer's full day's wages. So these hidden acts aren't just small gestures. They're seen as serious kingdom work that earns a full payment. Now let's pivot a little bit and see how this all connects. After tackling the anxiety of performance, Jesus moves to the anxiety that's caused by a divided heart, by trying to split our ultimate loyalty. And he doesn't mince words here. This is one of the most direct, absolute statements in the entire teaching. You have to make a choice. And the word he uses for serve here, it means to be enslaved to. He's saying you can use money, for sure, but you cannot be a slave to both God and wealth. And this isn't framed as a simple choice between good and evil, not at all. It's a choice between two competing masters, and both of them demand your total devotion. Serving God leads to what the text calls a healthy eye, a generous spirit. But serving wealth? That leads to a bad eye, which was a Hebrew concept for stinginess, for envy, for greed. And let's be really clear about this term mammon. It's the Aramaic word for wealth, but Jesus personifies it. He talks about it like it's a rival god. It's a master that promises you security, but in return, it demands your complete trust and allegiance. And trying to serve both God and mammon? Well, as one commentary puts it, that just leads to a kind of spiritual schizophrenia. So, what's the cure for all the anxiety that mammon creates? Jesus offers this radical alternative, something you could almost call kingdom economics. Seriously, just try to imagine hearing this for the first time. For an audience of laborers and farmers living totally hand-to-mouth under crushing Roman taxation, this command to not worry about food or drink or clothing, it would have sounded absolutely insane. For them, worry wasn't some character flaw, it was a basic survival instinct. So how does he back this up? He grounds this wild command in simple observations of the natural world. First, he says, look at the birds.
They don't have agricultural systems, they don't have barns to store food, and yet they're provided for. The argument is simple and powerful. If God cares for them, aren't you far more valuable?
Then he gives a second example, the wildflowers. They don't toil away in factories or spin thread, yet they're dressed in more splendor than King Solomon, the wealthiest king in Israel's history. Again, the logic is inescapable. If God clothes temporary grass with such beauty, won't he take care of his own children? And this all leads to the core principle of kingdom economics. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a complete reordering of your priorities. The idea is, when you make God's rule and his way of doing things your number one concern, he takes responsibility for all your secondary concerns. And you see how this connects directly back to the prayer Jesus taught earlier in the chapter? Give us today our daily bread. The goal isn't to stockpile enough wealth to eliminate worry forever. No, the goal is to learn how to live on daily grace, trusting God for today's sufficiency. Okay, let's bring these two huge themes, performance and anxiety, all together. And Jesus does this so beautifully with the metaphor of treasure. He basically lays out two different investment strategies. Earthly treasure? Well, that's not just money. It's also public praise, reputation, things that are vulnerable, that can decay or be stolen. But heavenly treasure, things like secret acts of generosity, a character that's aligned with God, that's imperishable. It's a completely secure investment. And this line? This is the key that unlocks the whole chapter. But notice the direction. He doesn't say, follow your heart. It's the complete opposite. Your heart follows your treasure. Whatever you invest in, whatever you truly value the most, that is what will ultimately capture your allegiance, your focus, your entire life. So if we boil this whole revolutionary chapter down to one core idea, this is it. The invitation is to build an inner life, a secret life with God, that is so real and so rich that the addiction to human approval and the fear of not having enough, they just start to lose their power over you. And that leaves us with a pretty challenging question, doesn't it? In our world, a world that literally runs on likes and shares and public validation, what would it actually look like to cultivate a secret life? What would it mean to do good when absolutely no one is watching? And to trust in a provider when everything and everyone is screaming at you to worry? That, right there, is the revolutionary secret of Matthew 6.